Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Molchop here, and welcome to the GSL Code A. This is the first round of the tournament still, and this is, of course, you would know this by now if you're watching this live, the secondary stream. If you're watching this on VODs later, there's, of course, 2 streams going on. And welcome to the Code A round of 48. I'm really excited. We're going to have some great matches here. Of course, half the matches going on the other stream, so you can tune into both streams at once, by the way. I'll just mention that a couple times today, but right here at the beginning, of course, you can go to your settings in your GOM player and make it so you can allow multiple instances or multiple GOM players. You can actually watch both sets of games at the same time if you'd like, and we're going to be getting into Bomber versus Heart here today in just a minute, and we've got a lot of good matchups for you today. Bomber versus Heart, a nice TVT here at the beginning. Squirtle versus Seal is going to be the next match. Then Yu-Gi-Oh versus Sculp, and Virus versus Saison. And I'm really excited about these matches. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of real cool up-and-coming players playing on this stream's matches tonight, and I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of how these players can play. Heart, for instance, real up-and-coming Terran player. I think he's actually, you know, kind of the real definition of an up-and-coming player. He's been playing really well in other tournaments, but he hasn't been able to do well in a GSL thus far, so we're going to kind of see what he has today to bring to us. You know, players like Seal, like Sculp, those are both players that, again, we've seen a little bit of, but we haven't seen a ton of, so we're going to be able to see what they're capable of today. Today is also kind of a day of testing matchups, I guess you could say, because a lot of the players today are going to be either playing their best matchup or their worst matchup, and so some players have gotten lucky and are able to face off. You know, if they're best against Zerg, they're facing off against the Zerg here in the Danger Days, the first round, where you can be completely eliminated from Code A, whereas some of them have been put into their best matchup, and actually Squirtle versus Seal, for instance, our next match, or second match I should say, is going to be a battle of both players playing their best matchup, and so that's going to be really interesting to kind of see. It's going to be a true test of those two players to see how well they can fare, and something that they're the most comfortable with against someone else who's really comfortable with that matchup as well. So that's going to be cool to see. We're going to see a lot of players in that situation, either playing against their least favorite or most favorite race. But first of all, it is going to be Bomber versus Heart, and both players are just getting their settings set up, getting everything ready, getting ready to go. And this is going to be really, really cool. It's going to be a real test for Heart, most of all. I mean, Heart, he, like I said, he's been a real up-and-coming player lately, and he's got a lot of proving here to do against Bomber, who in recent months has not been playing his top, but the other day in the Team League owned some face. The game is about to begin, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get started here with game number 1 of Bomber versus Heart at the GSL Code A. And down here in the bottom right is our first player. He is definitely the favorite of this matchup. That is for sure. This is none other than StarTales Bomber. And up here at the top left of the map, also a Terran opponent, is a member of the Team TSL. TSL's been having some rocky times lately, but this guy's been doing well. He is TSL Heart. And will he have the heart to succeed in this matchup? We're going to find out. Like I was saying earlier, Heart has been playing really well recently. He, you know, just a few months ago, beat Idra in the finals of one of the Team Liquid Opens. He almost got into the recent Home Story Cup, actually. Remember, Sound, another sort of up-and-coming Terran player, did really well in the Home Story Cup, and he actually almost didn't get to the Home Story Cup because this guy, Heart, almost beat him, and so you know, he's doing really well. We're going to check out. Nothing too interesting going on for both these players yet. There go the barracks for both players. We're going to have to see a little bit here. No gas either for both players, so we might even just see a quick expansion for both, but we're not sure yet. Anyway, yeah, a little bit more about Heart. Like I said, he's been playing really well, but remember I said this is a day of matchups, and yeah, this is not this is not Heart's best matchup at all. It's in fact his least favorable matchup. He has not been doing well against Terrans at all lately. Some recent losses to Finn, for instance, in one of the ESV tournaments. Tasia as well, lost to him, lost to the best. you know, those are his recent matchups against Terrans, going back a couple months. And so it's really unfortunate for Hart that here he is in a new situation where he's trying to prove himself. He's finally gotten into Code A, and he's really, you know, trying to prove himself in a new situation. He has to go up against not only a Terran, but Bomber of all things. Bomber, who got knocked out down to Code S. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, Bomber, he has not been playing the best lately, but, man, the other day in the Team League, he looked so strong. And so he's going to be really tough for Hart to beat. If Hart can beat Bomber, he will definitely have proven himself, at least for now, that he deserves to be in Code A. Anyway, so we do have a Reaper coming out for Bomber. He actually made a Marine first before going ahead and adding on that Tech Lab and going for the Reaper. He's got 2 guys in gas. That's kind of interesting. He may have something specific planned here, specific timing. SCV running away from those Marines. And he does have 1 Marine of his own here. It's good actually, if Hart puts on a little bit of pressure, then Bomber might have to react a little bit here. He's only got that 1 Marine. Of course, the Reaper is going to be out, and this Reaper is mostly going to be for scouting. As you can see, he didn't even get that SCV into the enemy base to see what was in the base. So this Reaper is going to be really important for scouting, and as you can see, both players did in fact go for expansion builds. Hart is actually building his down on the low ground, whereas Bomber's building his up on the safe high ground, and that's partly due to the fact that Bomber teched a little bit and was not able to know that he had the advantage to move down to that low ground. And actually, here comes those 3 Marines coming in here, and Bomber might be in a little bit of trouble. He's got 2 Marines. He's gonna have to pull SCVs, and Hart just goes ahead and backs off. Doesn't know what exactly is up there, so he doesn't want to risk those 3 Marines. But as you can see, he did get a little bit of a scout in at the same time, and was able to see exactly what was being built by Bomber. And there's that Reaper in the base now. Killed an SCV. He's going after some more. The Marines are trying to cut it off. Is he going to be able to get down the ramp? Yes, he is. There he goes. And so the Reaper did get in, though. And let me just double check what... Oh, almost had to run again. Oh, he's taking this over here. I thought he was firing at the Reaper. He did see a couple barracks in there. And... Oop. There went the Reaper. Guess he found that Reaper after all. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, trying to keep track of a lot of places at once. Bomber is powering up. He's getting his engineering bay. He's just going for basically mass bio, as you can see. He has only the 1 refinery, whereas we did see the double refinery go down earlier for Hart. And he's going to be teching up a little bit more. I mean, he's also going for bio, but he's getting his upgrades a little bit quicker. Well, actually, he's getting his +1 a little bit quicker, but Stim is actually 2/3 of the way done already for Bomber, so he's ahead in that sense. And you know what? Oftentimes it can come down to that. If Bomber decides to go for any kind of attack, if he has Stim and Hart doesn't, it is going to be a huge advantage for Bomber. Although, as you can see, Hart actually has a few extra Marines at this point since he's been working on that, and so he is going to have a little bit of an advantage. Of course, cannot break up into that ramp where Bomber has that bunker. But yeah, look at this. Hart just streaming more Marines to the middle map. He may be staging for something of an attack here. They both have even production right now, so the defender's advantage is going to go to Bomber at this point. And Bomber has Stim about to complete. He's getting +1, only a little bit behind Hart, so he's going to be in good shape if Hart decides to attack. And we may actually see Bomber turn and go for an attack of some kind of his own. He does actually, I said earlier that he had they had the same production, but Bomber actually got those reactors on a little bit earlier, so he has actually been able to pump out more Marines and has tied up the Marine count, actually just taken the lead in Marine count by 1. So Hart definitely at a disadvantage here in pretty much every aspect, despite the fact that Bomber did get his expansion up a little bit later since he had to float it down. And as you can see there, the harvester count a little bit even, almost exactly even as well. So pretty normal stuff here. Pretty even, I should say, for both players. Again, Hart going with the double gas on his expansion first, and he is starting to tech up a little bit quicker. So you can see down here, getting the starport, getting the armory, getting the second engineering bay. He is going to be really powering up to get a lot of upgrades going on, whereas Bomber has just been making units, and we might actually see him do a little bit of a push here. He has Stim, he has combat shields and +1 about to finish, and we may see him go for an attack at that point. But the only upgrade advantage he's going to have over Hart is the combat shield, which is important, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to overcome the bunker and the defender's advantage. We have almost exactly the same amount of Marines. Bomber has actually a few more Marines, but remember, some of those are back at home. This bunker is going to be a little bit extra as well. It may come down to simply positioning. He scans to see what's up there. And is he going to decide to go up there or not? It looks like he is going to stim up there. He's going to go straight for the bunker. Targets down the bunker very quickly, and he goes in with the stim Marines. He has the combat shield, so he takes extra hits, and he's going to barely be able to polish off the Marines of Hart. Reinforcements coming in. Hart may have to pull SCVs here, but he does have a couple medevacs, so he's going to lose. Oh, this is the real problem here. He's going to lose a couple SCVs. Oh, no, and he sent those 2 Marines down to die. He needed to wait for another round of Marines, so he had like 5, so that the medevacs could keep them alive and do a lot more damage. Instead, loses those Marines and loses a good chunk of SCVs as well. Looks like we're going to see a total of 15 workers killed here in that battle. That was a lot of SCVs. I didn't even think he got that many SCVs. That was pretty big. And he's going in for another attack here. The medevacs, are they going to be able to heal up enough for him to hold out? It looks like the DPS of Bomber is just too much. Hart has 30 supply less at this point as well. His economy is in tatters. He's not going to be able to mine from this base, and looks like Bomber has had a huge advantage. Looks like I think this is going to be able to clear things up though for Hart, but no, Bomber coming in from the other side as well. 4 medevacs in the air. Are they going to be enough to heal these forces fast enough? Yes, they are. And Hart is able actually to hold that off. Bomber forced to retreat. You can see him regathering his forces in the middle of the map and bringing them back home. It looks like he's got some of them running home and some of them actually rallied to the front there. He's going to have to turn those around at some point. But Hart barely holds things off. And wow, look at that though. That is the key thing here though. 60 SCVs to 35. Bomber has a huge economy, and he knows it, and he can use it with this 3rd command center. He's going to be able to get this 3rd base up much sooner than Hart will. So Hart, with a valiant defense, he went for that tech a little bit earlier, and that was a really nice timing by Bomber, because Hart had the tech advantage, Bomber had the unit advantage, but Bomber went in right when those 2 medevacs were almost out, but not quite. They could not affect the battle. If those medevacs had been out for that battle, then Bomber never would have gotten up that ramp. It would have been a much different story. So beautifully timed by Bomber there. And it was interesting because he scanned to see what was going on in Hart's base and then didn't actually move in until the last moment, and then he finally stemmed up there. So well done by Bomber. He's going to have a commanding lead going into this mid-game. Looks like Hart's going to try and use his tech advantage, though. He is moving out. He does have siege mode already completed, and I don't believe Bomber does. Oh, he does too. Never mind. He's going to be okay as long as he doesn't get caught unsieged off guard, I guess. And so yeah, Bomber just with every single advantage here. Hart, as you can see here, is getting his upgrades a little bit quicker as well. He got his 2nd engineering bay with his armory for +2, whereas Bomber got it a little bit later for 2-2 at the same time. And sorry about that. And sorry, I got a little distracted. Looks like Hart is moving across the map here and is going to go for a little bit of attack. Is he going to be able to maybe pick off the 3rd? He sieges up with his 2 tanks, but no! Oh, no! Bomber gets a huge attack! Is able to pick off one of the tanks before it even fires more than 1 shot. Picks off the other tank as well, and Bomber, just with an advantage in everything, is able to pick off the entire army of Hart. And I'm actually surprised we didn't see a GG just there. Hart is going to try and fight this out, but he is at such a huge disadvantage right now. This is not looking good at all for Hart. I mean, if we look at the supply, that's 145 to 77. Just everything going wrong for Hart now. Bomber has not been making too many SCVs, and Hart has. So Hart is almost caught up in the SCV count. He's going to try and catch up by moving this 3rd base over here. And if he can do that, he can kind of get even in economy. But just look at the supply. 7 tanks to 2, 49 Marines to 17, 4 medevacs to 2 Vikings. Hart does have those Vikings, so he can try and pick off those medevacs, but his 2 Vikings is not going to pick them off fast enough to be worthwhile in a battle. He is continuing to upgrade his units, and both players just getting their tank upgrades as well. Looks like we're going to have a 1 upgrade advantage for Hart. I guess that is one advantage that he does have, but he didn't really, just didn't have enough Marines to actually make use of that in that battle. And looks like Bomber might be going for the kill now. Oh man, Hart has had such problems against Terran players lately. It is just so unfair, unfortunately, for him to be facing off against Bomber in this match. Bomber's going to clear that up in preparation for possibly getting a 4th base if he needs to. but he actually might just walk across the map and kill Hart right now. 3-3 is on the way for Bomber. I guess he could theoretically wait for that as well, but that's going to be a long time. It's going to be over 2 minutes, 3 minutes actually, before he can get that, and he might just want to go in now. He scans, he sees the army of Hart. He is going in for the kill right now. Hart just does nothing to deal with this. A lot of Marines stimming down there. The tank's getting some good shots off. Oh no, but Bomber gets close enough to actually hit the siege tanks. Hart should have engaged there with his Marines. There's the GG coming from Hart. And Startail Bomber takes game number 1. Alright, so again, Bomber was the favorite there, and not disappointing us at all. Hart had his work cut out for him and goes down on the first game on Entombed Valley. The maps are predetermined, by the way. Sorry, by the way, that I was mistaken about that fact last week. But in fact, the maps are predetermined, so we're going to go to Metropolis here very soon. Metropolis is going to be the next map for Bomber versus Hart. And man, I just do not know what Hart can do here. Bomber is just such a strong player. Hart has been doing really well lately, like I said, in foreign tournaments, what have you. But just, it's going to be so tough for him to do so. And I just want to talk for a second about Bomber in the team league the other day as well. I have to admit, I starting to become a little bit of a doubter of Bomber. I was a big Bomber fan, but I was starting to doubt him lately. He was not playing well. He almost got out of Code A last season. He was, well, I mean, he was able to get decently far, but didn't fare well in Code S. Just has been struggling. And anyway, game number 2 is about to begin on Metropolis. I'll talk about that more in a second. Game number 2 on Metropolis. Bomber is up 1 game over Hart.